I was sent out from here, from Calvary a couple years ago. Me and my wife Shay, who is more beloved than I am even here at Calvary. We've been living in downtown Tampa, started a church there a little over a year ago. Yeah, the first year was really incredible. It's kind of like I just had a baby, and I feel like I compare it to that. It's every bit as challenging and every bit as rewarding as they say. Some of the hardest and most difficult things I've ever done have been navigating, kind of getting a new church off the ground. But then to see the fruit of people coming to faith and people getting connected to a church community that they had not been connected in before, and building relationships. We've made some great friendships already at our church, and it's a good semblance of a community, even just after a year. And actually, just this past weekend, we did something called our For Tampa Saturday, which over the past couple of months, we just moved to once a month on a Saturday. We'll send out a team of people to go serve at a few different ministry partners. And early on in our church plant's life, it was mostly launch team people who maybe lived outside of the community who were helping us start this thing. And now, just this past Saturday, we had around 20 people there, and I looked around, and 15 of those people were people who live right in Channelside, right in Water Street, who have connected to a church and previously were not, and are being mobilized to serve in the community because they're now a part of a church plant right in the area. And another really cool story at our church recently, since we began, we had one medical student who came to our church last year because USF's medical school is right in Channelside there in Water Street. And so last year we had one medical student, and she told a few other medical students this year. And now we have a group of almost 10 medical students who live, and most of them don't even have a car, so they wouldn't be able to drive to a church elsewhere. But because we're right in the walkable area, they're able to join and be a part of our church community at a really formative time in their life, where they're going to be sent out to be Christian doctors somewhere around the world. So that's a really cool thing we've been able to do recently.
Hi, I'm Ken Thompson. I'm the lead pastor of Bay Cities Fellowship. Our church began meeting in Oldsmar in the summer/fall of 2017, and we were sent out by Calvary. The type of ministry, philosophy that we have is, we want to be a very present people. We want to be near and dear to the people that we're trying to love and lead, and to become more like Jesus. When we moved down here, we moved down with a handful of families that were very eager to join in this work and mission of God. Probably if this makes sense, one of the biggest wins that we saw over the past couple of years is the faithful ministry and endurance of our members, despite some extremely difficult circumstances we encountered in the pandemic. One of our key leaders and founding families just dove into the abyss with their neighbors during the pandemic. And to watch this family just dive into that depths with them, to see them love and be present, to be a part of going to visit people even in jail, just seeing that family loved and served during a season of time when probably most of us were trying just to love and serve ourselves, was probably one of the, cool sounds cheap, but probably one of just the most meaningful expressions of love I've seen in a long time.
I'm Brian Hoxie, and I am a church planner. We've been doing the Outpost Network now for about a year, which is the organization that I started after being sent out from Calvary. So the Outpost is a decentralized network of house churches and disciple-making groups that right now we're hubbing out of the Odessa area, sort of like southern Pasco County, but our churches and groups exist as far south as Largo and as far north as Hudson. We've been really focused and intentional about getting out into the harvest amongst the people that we're trying to reach, which is the neighborhoods surrounding the different house churches and disciple-making groups that we have right now. So over the past, I think it was 3 weeks ago, we were able to go prayer walking and gospeling within an apartment complex in our neighborhood. And we got to meet several people who had recently moved to the area, hadn't been involved or gotten engaged in a church yet. But the coolest part was that we were able to meet with a guy named Ram. He was a recent transplant from South Asia. the place where we have been praying for a very long time to see people engaged from unreached, unengaged people groups. They are moving to our backyard, and specifically within just a couple hundred yards of our house church. So we were able to share with him, and actually he invited us to come back into his house to share with his family more.
You know, there are several different churches who help us and pray for us, and we are just really encouraged by them. But Calvary is the one church that it's like we would not exist if it was not for Calvary. And the continual support, Calvary continues to support us and make us a viable church, even right now and moving into the future. A lot of our launch team who came with us are still with us. It's people that Calvary generously sent. And then even for me, being trained to be a pastor here at Calvary, just the culture of sending that you guys are forming here and continues to be built at Calvary. We are just one small piece in that puzzle, and we are so unbelievably grateful to be a part of it.
The fact that this desire that the Lord birthed in my heart in 2010, that kind of like I didn't know what to do with it, where to go with it, and that there is a church, willing to, take me in, work with me, and send me out to something that has been one of the most life-changing experiences. I mean, first of all, just thank you. If it wasn't for the support, the training, the resources, the friendships, I mean, we wouldn't be doing this. And I don't say that as a cliche. I mean, there's too many reasons. Time doesn't allow me to share all the ways that Calvary, Pastor Willie, in the past, Jeremy Westbrook, Skip Dvornik, these men have had, life-changing impact. And there have been just faithful and kind members of Calvary who have supported us in prayer and giving, just unexpected and generous resources over the past few years.
To Calvary, to our Calvary family, we just want to say thank you so much. Your prayers and your support, just of encouragement for me and my wife Lindsay. For those of you who have met me before, you know that I'm very forward with the struggles that we face with my daughter Noelle with her diagnosis of cystic fibrosis. You guys have been a rock to us as even we were considering being sent out from Calvary. It was a very difficult circumstance, a very hard card to be dealt, and just the encouragement that we've received from our Calvary family has, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing now.
I'm a different person today. I really believe that I'm more like Jesus today because of your church's willingness, and I would even say eagerness, to see people sent to plant, replant, to just, take the good news of Jesus wherever they would go.